Folks, this is kind of comical, but it's actually really good news to hear. I'm glad a lot of people probably seen this by now. If you haven't, this is a little bit of an eye-opener. I'm talking about Judge Joe Brown is debating with a fellow podcaster here on YouTube about his stance on Trump while he contests what John Legend said about Trump. Now, John Legend, first part of this video clip, said Trump is a racist, doesn't care about black people, has never done nothing good for black people, and he don't want to hear it. And then Judge Joe Brown weighs in and says, who is this guy? And lets him have it with the truth. He blows the doors off the truth with this one. I'm talking about discussing Obama and crooked-ass Joe Biden, his whole family, and Hunter Biden's 3 laptops that the Judge Brown said he knows about specifically. Here we go, folks. We're going to get into the video, and after the video, we'll do a little bit of a rundown on a couple things that have happened in the news today, which is more good news. I'm talking about a couple of good wins. So stick around to the end, folks. Here we go. Check it out. We got Jen Psaki interview, John Legend, got a podcaster interviewing Judge Joe Brown to, I guess, counterattack or weigh in on the commentary, previous commentary. Check it out, folks. This is all good stuff.
You have a lot on your plate. Are you going to be out there campaigning for Joe Biden this fall?
We'll get out there probably later in the year as it gets close to people making decisions about when it's time to vote. I think the choice is very clear. There's a lot been said about age and all these other things. Both of them are old, but one of them is a really decent man who's done a lot to improve lives in this country, and that's Joe Biden. That's who I'm going to be voting for, and I'll be out there supporting him.
Not true.
So I wanted to get you.
Before we get started, folks, you see Judge Joe Brown is down here with a red curtain behind him down in the left corner. As soon as John Legend said that, he's just like, oh my God. Here we go, folks.
Thoughts on that real quick.
Who is this boy? Who is this boy?
He's a singer, John Legend.
He was white. I always thought he was white. Anyway, he hadn't paid any damn dues. Let me put it this way. Most of what is wrong with the criminal justice system in the United States of America that's trickled down from the federal level to the state level that negatively impacts blacks and other minorities was started off in 1979, 1981, 1983, 1987, 1991, and 1994, thanks to Joe Biden, Stennis, Eastland, and Byrd. And you can thank them for some of the problems with American criminal law as they negatively
He's talking about the 2 Klan members and Joe Biden.
Impact black folk. This mess about all of these people in jail, first offenders for one rock, you can thank Joe Biden for, with his mess about crack, even though it seems to have settled into his household quite heavily. I heard the low-down scummy bastard say in front of me, it was in Dover, Delaware, he was on the podium, he said, quote, Negroes are animals and they turn the streets into jungles and they need to be put in zoos where they are safe and can be observed. He said Negro children are animals and they turn schools into zoos. And I don't want my children going to a school with Negroes in it turned into a zoo. I heard him say that. I saw him when he said it. He's a liar. He had to withdraw from the presidential campaign in 1988 because he lied about his academic career. He got found early to have plagiarized some things that caused his expulsion from an academic institution. He's a piece of urban trailer park trash who's had nothing but government jobs his entire life and has turned out a very rich man because of the bribes, the extortion, and the downright payoffs he has gotten under the table illegally. And there's some things that I saw, that I read from the 3 downloaded laptops of his son. There were 3, not 1. I interviewed the technician. They are very incriminating, and there is a high probability that what they're after Trump in Florida for, relative to refusal to turn over so-called classified documents.
I don't mean to pause it, folks, but listen to this part carefully. He's fixing to spill the beans on Biden and Obama.
It's that were placed under an act that, under the theory of Marbury versus Madison, 1803, 221 years ago, were unconstitutional. And what the point was is to get them back from Trump so they could be destroyed and not incriminate Biden and Obama from what was on those laptops. So we have a witch hunt. We have a problem that is engendered by the DAs in question. Fannie Willis, we just got through talking to, having meetings in the White House, going after somebody's very strong political opposition. We've got a situation down in Florida where somebody is trying to go against what the Supreme Court has already said in 1988 in the case of United States Department of the Navy versus Egan, EGAN, which has multiple concurring opinions, and quite a few of them say there are no limits on what a president can classify or declassify, or any limitations on how he chooses to do so, either openly by written order or by action. Individual like Fannie, who is jumped in here trying to do something. And we have another clown like this person right here, who has no political science background, no law background, no political background, no economic background, who is coming in to pontificate about somebody's wrong and who's racist. So every damn thing I've seen about Biden, and I'm not that far under him, just a few years. What's going on is he has no qualifications to sit there and render anything other than an opinion generated by looking at the propaganda of the left of the Democratic Party plantation, of which he is an enthusiastic member. So what he's saying about Trump being a racist versus somebody that for the last 50 years I have been hearing making one racist remark after another, I have had to deal with in the practice of defense law as somebody that was passing one bill after another, making another element of criminal law against minorities based on nothing but racist premises. I've watched that for 45 years. So I see this clown sitting up there doing nothing else but that, and then culminating it by having the audacity to say, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. So we have a handkerchief head houseboy sitting up there trying to call somebody who is
He called Biden a handkerchief houseboy. I hadn't heard that one, folks. That's funny.
Done more in a few years for black folk than this clown is done in his entire 50, and nowhere near as much damage. Hell, I thought the people that were in that Central Park fight should have been damn near crucified, considering what they confessed to, and it wasn't like it got beat out of them. One of them got brought down by his father, and the police got confronted by the father and this person, and the dad said, this son of mine needs to make a confession to you. That's how it started. It was a pretty horrible crime. So I'm looking at what this clown has been sitting out there, being tagged out there to be the monkey on a little chain, and start talking smack that he has no expertise in. Right. So it is part of the game. It's part of this thing we saw
let me
4 years ago.
Let me say something.
One last little remark. You got a polite version of take your booties to the pole. You're getting a singer coming on he's got a right under the First Amendment to express his opinion. So do these clowns, including the 1/3 of the cast that were trannies who were dancing half naked on the strip poles. They've got their right to do that as a form of expression, but that is insulting to black folk that they should be persuaded by it.
That's right.
All right. I do want to say this because that's going to be the motto, I guess, to convince particularly black people, that Trump is a racist, because that's the only thing that, you know, they have to go on, and they're just going to ride that out. So, you know, if we going to, and I look at it like this, you know, on the left side, you know, it's okay for them to call someone racist, but if the right side start calling people racist, then you want to label them as, you know, being bigots or whatever. So I think people just need to stop throwing race in it, because it has nothing to do with race. It really doesn't. And the more if you're voting that way, you know, then you don't know how politics work, right?
That's right.
But I want to move on from that.
One last, please, brief comment. The unemployment rate for black folk was the lowest it's been since 1968 under Donald Trump. The earning capacity of black folk was the highest it's been since 1968 under Trump. The greatest amount of money, percentage-wise, of the national budget and in actual dollars devoted to HBCUs since 1968 under the Johnson administration was under Donald Trump. And it goes on. He endorsed the Platinum Plan that Ice Cube, who had made some study of the situation, was trying to work out with him.
I don't want to go too much into Donald Trump.
And the spy won't, but in spite of that, we've got this character
I'm not promoting Donald
Trump, who is
Trump.
a disaster, getting up there and trying to get us to accept this with his grin on his face when it is a complete lie.
I don't know why she got to hate on Trump. He's just spitting the facts, folks. It is what it is. Now, it's a fact the Democrat Party uses race to their advantage. The Republicans are scared to talk about race. And definitely a lot of the blacks are swayed by the fact that they think that the Democrat Party has got their back. And I think all that is starting to fizzle out, go away, and become a little more transparent. And between the illegals taking people's jobs, incomes, welfare, and just the way our economy is going, and the way Joe Biden talks about the black people, that alone, if I was black, would make me look at other choices. But at any rate, let's go ahead and finish this video out. I got a little bit of news I want to get to you as well.
Propagandistic fabrication. And it is insulting to insinuate that we are fool enough to buy that.
All right, folks, we're going to go to another article here I wanted to bring to y'all. Matter of fact, let me back up just a little bit here. Okay, first off, let me just say, Pennsylvania, oh, excuse me, just a second, I can't see here. All right, here we go. Now, I told you the story a couple of weeks ago. In the state of Pennsylvania, the Democrats tried to appeal to be able to use ballots with no mailing address, no return address, no postal stamp showing that the ballots have made it to the address, and then went to the mail again to make it back to the drop-off place. And that's how one of the ways the Democrats did a lot of shenanigans in Pennsylvania during the 2020 and probably the 2022 as well. But at any rate, a few weeks ago, the Republicans got a win on this to where they made a law that says that it is not constitutional to accept mail-in ballots that haven't been run through the mail system. And so the Democrats immediately tried to appeal this case, and the court denied the request to reconsider it in the state of Pennsylvania, meaning that mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania will actually have to go through the mail system fully in order to be counted in all future elections in the state of Pennsylvania. That's a huge win for that state, folks. We actually got the win weeks ago, but like I said, the Democrats appealed it, and the Court of Appeals denied the request to reconsider it again. So that is a double win for us, folks, no doubt about it. Let me get up here and I'll scroll back a little bit. Apologize for standing up. I just can't see over my... Okay, here we go. One more video I want to bring y'all today, folks. And this here is a little bit crazy. It's good news, though. It says exclusive Gen Pack 47 to whip up support for Trump through pop culture and concert events with a list of acts. We're talking about venues and different things, along with so far several different rappers and people in the music industry supporting Trump, and decided they're not just going to support Trump at the ballot box, but they're going to support Trump by going to purple states and setting up concerts and events and trying to reach the minorities and the younger people who may not be politically motivated to vote for anybody. All right, folks, this Gen Z 47 group was founded by LG Fino, president of First Class Records and PR consultant for Alex Famey. I don't know who that is. It says it can be recalled that LJ Fino had a hand in producing a hit song, #1 song, Justice for All, featuring Donald Trump, which helped support the J6 prisoners. I know you all remember that. And also the Carrie Lake song, Carrie Lake's 81 Million Votes My Ass song. I know you remember that one as well. Come out a few months ago. As Mailman Media's head of records music operations, Fino First Class Records labeled and also produced by music by Laura Trump as well. Sounds like a conservative music industry mogul. It says under new Gen 47, Fino and Fahmy plan to hold concerts and music events for famous musicians to rally voters for Donald Trump and other conservatives in November. The first event will be held sometime in June, and the group will hold more concert-style events with a list of entertainers soon to be announced. The Gateway Pundit has acknowledged some of the entertainers new Gen 47 is currently in talks with and is something to look forward to. So it looks like this is just getting started, and they'll probably have a lot more people wanting to jump on board with this venue, support Trump. It's great, folks. Grassroots movement to find the voters. We need to get out and register these people to vote, get it on their mind that it matters who you vote for. It matters if you vote. And the way to do that is, for these young people and a lot of these minorities, is reach them where they're listening, whether it be entertainment, music, whatever the genre be. Just like Biden's doing with the TikTok and the Taylor Swift, Trump needs to do the same thing. That Trump has a lot of supporters out there, and he needs to rally the support of his supporters and people willing to endorse him. I'm talking about the Snoop Dogs and the Kodak Blacks and so many of the actors now that are just coming out. John Voight and Christopher Walken. There's actually dozens of actors now that are coming out, and Kevin Sorbo, and just in support of America First policies. And in turn, they're supporting Trump. It says, Fino told the Gateway Pundit Gen Z 47 is a hybrid pack that combines popular culture with politics. We will be focusing on reminding the electorate which presidential candidate benefits all Americans from all walks of life, and that candidate is President Donald J. Trump, number 45 and 47. He continued, President Trump signed a bipartisan music modernization act into law, which helped songwriters, musicians, and performers and creatives receive fair compensation for their work in the arts, and changed copyright laws to better reflect the digital era of music. That was great. It is incredibly hard for me to fathom why people continue to vote for a candidate who has repeatedly lied and made racist remarks throughout his long career of politics, talking about Biden, and signed the 1994 crime bill, which put so many people in jail behind a crumb of crack, which unfairly treated minority individuals in the worst of ways, with mass incarcerations of groups involving the drug. So that was crazy that if you got caught with cocaine in the 80s and 90s, or in the 90s, it was a felony, but you're probably going to go to the county for it, probably going to get out, get a little probation, move on down the line. But if you got caught with the same amount of crack cocaine, minimum 5 years mandatory. That was Joe Biden's legislation that actually got that done. So for the blacks that still support Joe Biden, do you support the fact that he probably has played a part in helping destroy your family if anyone in your entire family has either had a problem with crack or been a drug dealer of crack? I don't agree with the drug dealing thing, but at the same time, 5 years for as a minimum sentence for somebody to be in possession of drugs, that was about taking black people off the streets. That was vindictive. Larry Bird, or not Larry Bird, Klansman Bird, and Klansman Biden's way of trying to get more black people incarcerated. No doubt about it. Joe Biden is rolling out the red carpet for illegal immigrants, and people are waking up to it. Our taxpayer dollars are paying for Visa cards, gift cards, plane tickets, free health care, and housing for illegal migrants, among other things. Now, I believe there will be a lot more songs come out. I believe there will be a lot more entertainers show up. I believe there will be a lot more events planned out. This is just getting started, folks. We got a good 6 months to get this ball rolling, get these events going. Hopefully they do this in the swing states, because that's where Trump really needs to pull ahead. Not that he hasn't already, but we'll take every vote we can get from any walk of life. And I'm glad to see people like Snoop Dogg and several of these entertainers willing to get up and be a part of this. And there is the list of names is growing as we speak. When we get actually a little better list going, I'll break it out to you here on another episode. But let's go ahead and watch this. This is their very first official launch video from the new Gen 47.
Like all that they don't like to see you win, and they want to see you in a penitentiary.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trump this year? Of course. We had Donald Trump for like 20 years. Like,
long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. And you ain't black. And you ain't black.
Well, when you're talking about reaching out to minority communities, these are the people oftentimes who have been hardest hit by some of the bad policies of Joe Biden. We think it's very important to be engaged in every community in this country. In fact, I think you're going to see Donald Trump hitting Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, New York City. These are areas where people just want to see somebody come in and talk to them and hear about what they need and what their experience is right now. I can guarantee you're going to see him there.
So I don't care what the media tells you, Mr. Trump. We support you.
Right.
Okay, 4 p.m. We've been 4 p.m.
come here, let me give you a hug.
Please
Thank you, sweetheart. That's really nice.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
I love you, Trump! I love you, Trump! We love 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 Trump!
everyone's life will improve with Donald Trump as president.
And what does that look like?
Well, in an inverse fashion, look at where we are right now in this country. Look at how much harder life is for people, whether it's high gas prices, whether it's inflation, whether it's the open southern border that impacts every state in this country, not just border states. Everybody is feeling the negative impacts of it.
Like, getting rid of Trump is the worst thing America could have did. You hear me?
I can't wait, folks. I hope some of these venues come to Texas as well. I'd definitely be looking forward to something like that. But more than that, I would like to see these venues hit these big cities that are purple or dark blue, so we can reel our voters in, get people activated, motivated, and ready to make the right choice November 5th, 2024. Like, subscribe, and share to Vote Patriots. I hope this was a little bit informative. And dang it, Judge Joe Brown, burn the house down with the absolute truth. I love it. I love it. Good stuff, folks. Have a good one. Over and out.